Hello friends! In this video, we'll cover the story of Once Human, a free-to-play post-apocalyptic survival game developed by Starry Studio. So, are you ready to become a meta-human and save what's left of humanity? Let's begin. The world of Once Human is set in a post-apocalyptic future where an event known as the Starfall has ravaged the world. This cataclysm was triggered by these creatures called Deviations, continuously passing between two planes of existence, our reality and the rift space. These deviations release a substance called Stardust when they are stressed, which pollutes the environment and causes widespread mutations among all living beings. Prior to the Starfall, a multinational corporation called Rosetta was at the forefront of scientific advancement, particularly in the fields of human evolution and interdimensional research. However, their ambition and reckless experiments ultimately led to disaster. An object called the Rosetta Stone was discovered by Professor Rachel Pierre Luberny, the founder of the Rosetta Institute in 1967. Luberny and his colleague Samuel Lowe extracted a material from it that they soon realized did not belong to Earth. This substance would later become known as Stardust. In a twist, this substance infected and mutated some researchers due to inadequate safety precautions. The Stardust pollution began to warp reality itself, creating areas known as impasses, where the laws of nature no longer apply. These zones became filled with monsters and deformed mutations of unknown origins. Despite the collapse of civilization, Rosetta continued their experiments with Stardust and rift space energy. In the wake of this catastrophe, the remnants of humanity have fractured into various factions. Some, like the rebel group Mayfly, fight against Rosetta and try to help other survivors. Others, such as the Vultures, have embraced a savage, predatory lifestyle. The Union maintains some semblance of civilization in the eastern wastelands, while the Column seeks to establish a new world order from their hidden base in the north. In Once Human, players take on the role of a meta-human, also known as a Beyonder. Meta-humans are biologically enhanced humans with the extraordinary ability to control Stardust, the very substance that has wreaked havoc on the world. This power sets them apart from ordinary survivors, allowing them to resist the corrupting effects of Stardust pollution and even harness its energy. The creation of meta-humans was not without controversy, however. Rosetta, in its pursuit of uniform evolution for mankind, conducted radical research on rift space life. These experiments ultimately led to the catastrophic event known as the Starfall, which ironically created the perfect testing ground for their enhanced humans. Meta-humans thus represent both the pinnacle of Rosetta's achievements and a living reminder of their hubris. Let's now cover the story of Once Human. The game begins with you waking up as a meta-human, also known as a Beyonder, with no memory of your past. This amnesia sets the stage for you to discover the world of Once Human. You've been in a research facility, and now that facility has been attacked by a force that has disrupted your tranquil state. As you regain consciousness, you pull out a dagger stuck in a sheath, stumbling out of your chamber. Oh, and don't mind your character's nakedness. Everyone starts off in their underwear in this game, apparently. You find yourself in a world that has been drastically altered by Starfall. As you explore the facility, you have an out-of-body experience, flashing between planes of reality. Your character has awakened the Cradle. This is the special backpack where your abilities for combat are located. A mystical talking bird named V has been set free due to your power. Now, V isn't your average bird. He's a magical, talking crow who's been trapped in that reality-warping backpack, aka the Cradle. He's our new bestie and guide in this wild world. V's got the knowledge on all things meta-human and deviation-related, making him our personal Wikipedia in feather form. He explains that you are one of the rescued Beyonders, meta-humans who were saved from the clutches of Rosetta, the organization responsible for the Starfall. This company is obsessed with all kinds of radical research on rift space life. V tasks you with capturing a deviation, more specifically a paper butterfly.
Came to secure a deviation. A paper butterfly. But I think something must have scared it. Right now, though, we need to move. I can show you the way out of this place, but only if you help me complete my mission first. Alright? All you have to do is listen to what I tell you.
As you explore your surroundings, you begin to grasp the extent of the Stardust pollution. The world you knew has been warped beyond recognition, with once thriving cities now reduced to eerie alien environments. You encounter another metahuman, Mitsuko, first through a ripple in space-time, basically a spatial fluctuation causing a vivid past event replaying in front of you. In this moment, you realize you are not the only metahuman because she is going through her own struggles with controlling her powers.
I remember my name now. It's Mitsuko. It means child of light. It's my first creation. I will create more.
Afterwards, Mitsuko comes to life right in front of you. You see her embody the butterflies, and then you meet her in a house with your guide V. Turns out, Mitsuko wants our help balancing the world so humans and deviations can live in harmony, since it is almost impossible to capture them all. This is easier said than done because deviations release stardust when they are stressed, which can cause a variety of unpredictable outcomes. They are not bound by the physics of the world and can go between reality and the rift space, bringing the worlds closer together. Repeatedly passing between the two planes causes mayhem. She explains your powers and abilities, including your ability to craft and equip deviations. Like the paper butterfly you captured for V, you are also told about the many deviations, the mutated creatures warped by stardust pollution that you'll encounter. These deviations come in various forms. Some are constant threats and challenges as you navigate the landscape, while others are friendly deviations and help you in your journey, like the paper butterfly. Mitsuko is hiding from the Great Ones, powerful entities that slipped into the physical world during the Starfall event. These beings are responsible for much of the chaos and mutation in the world. The Great Ones want her power. This is why Mitsuko is in hiding and everything about her has to remain a secret. She created a rift space as a refuge from these power-stealing entities, and the Great Ones are now held up in monoliths. It is therefore now your mission to defeat the Great Ones so that Mitsuko can go back to the physical world. But the surrounding communities don't totally hate the monoliths, because from their perception, the monoliths are just providing them with unlimited power.
Some deviations are friendly, like the butterfly. But others, like the ones inside monoliths, are extremely dangerous. It's not practical to secure all of them, but if we can learn more about them, maybe we can find ways to live alongside them. That's the goal. You must be prepared. The stardust just keeps spreading.
Anyways, after the lore chat with Mitsuko, it's time to get this show on the road. We fight a creature called a siren, and boy oh boy, it's a sight to behold. It is this massive, grotesque tower of flesh rising up from the marsh like some twisted skyscraper. But after a few well-placed arrows, down goes this towering monstrosity. As it collapses, it leaves behind a little souvenir, an orange, jelly-like deviant. Afterwards, Mitsuko sends us through a door in the middle of the sky where we fall into our new world. Luckily, V is there to catch us and serve as a glider. We learn how to build stuff and get a lay of the land. A mysterious woman named Mary becomes your new bestie. She informs you that she is part of the Mayflies, the rebellious group against Rosetta. She spots your cradle and thinks you are a Mayfly too.
Are you a Mayfly? How interesting. I thought I was the only Mayfly left.
She teaches you how to build a gun and hooks you up with a sweet ride, a motorcycle you can summon at will.
Oh, and one more thing. I have a motorcycle here you can use. That should help speed things along.
Mary also introduces you to Samuel Lowe, who's like your personal deviant GPS. He explains that to really get to the bottom of this whole deviant situation, you need to activate these rift anchors. Think of them as interdimensional doorways. They let you pop into rift space where the big, bad monolith deviants are hiding out.
Now, you're interested in the deviation inside that monolith, aren't you? But the tower is locked up tight, and its keys are rift anchors across the wetlands.
Rift anchors? Those things are made by Rosetta, aren't they? Activating them should give us access to the rift space inside the monolith.
Spot on.
You zoom off to another location, and the place is crawling with corrupted monsters. So you set up a little camp just in case things don't go well. You find a group of merchants, but they're not exactly in great shape. They're covered in some funky slime. And, of course, you just had to touch it. Suddenly, you're in a trippy space ripple, fighting off some creatures. But hey, you're a tough cookie, and you manage to activate the rift anchor. Mission accomplished. Sort of. You still need to activate more anchors to get to where Mary wants you to go. You blaze through the next few anchors like a hot knife through butter. Along the way, you stumble upon this place called Broken that looks like it's seen better days. After activating all the anchors, Mary gives you the green light to head to the Monolith of Greed. Sounds like a fun place? You meet up with Mary, and she's all excited about this deviant that's been reacting to your anchor-messing shenanigans. You make it to the monolith of greed, and suddenly you're face to face with the first great one, the ravenous hunter. And it's not pretty. It has a nasty slime head, and it's captured some poor souls.
You are truly a great one.
We are still waiting!
Now you're dodging, weaving, and probably screaming a little. But against all odds, you take this thing down. You eventually make it to the Gaia monolith, which is guarded by Rosetta's goons. It's like trying to break into a treehouse. After fighting your way through what feels like an army, you face off against the big boss tree itself. It's huge, it's angry, and it's got plants it can summon. But with your trusty jellyfish by your side, you manage to take it down. With another great one defeated, you chat with Mitsuko, get some sweet loot, and gear up for your next battle. Araxiam. With a name like that, you're betting it's a giant spider. You wrap things up by heading west on Mary's orders, infiltrating a research center, and uncovering some of Rosetta's questionable ethics. At the Mirage Monolith, you face the big bad spider boss. As you enter the spider's lair, things get creepy. We're talking singing spiders, illusions, and a nest that would make an arachnophobe faint on the spot. The fight begins, and it's all poison clouds, weird illusions, and a giant spider. It throws everything but the kitchen sink at you, invisible webs, poison clouds, and even some creepy singing.
Ghosts around.
At long last, you manage to send Mama Spider back to whatever nightmare she crawled out of. And what do you get for your trouble? A dream catcher. Nothing says, thanks for saving us from interdimensional spiders, like a new piece of bedroom decor. To Mitsuko, dream catchers are more than decor, though. It affects her deeply and shows her nightmares. She saw a world where Rosetta eliminated all the mayflies and you. This dream was so vivid, she swears it was real. Next, you face off against the Shadowhound in the Monolith of Thirst. It is a massive, dark doggo from your worst nightmares. It even has horns. You're hopping between portals, dodging ground-shattering slams, and trying not to get yanked. But in the end, you manage to send this oversized pupper back to the pound. At long last, you are now approaching the end of the game as you gear up for the final boss. But hold on to your hats because you've got a plot twist. Remember Mary, your supposed ally? Turns out she's been playing you like a fiddle this whole time. She's actually a Rosetta super clone with daddy issues and a taste for human experimentation. So you decide to do some detective work. You break into a Rosetta facility and uncover Mary's twisted backstory. Mary Ames, as you discover, is not just a traitor, but a product of Rosetta's twisted experiments. Created in a lab by Marcus Ames, the head of gene research, Mary is a clone cultivated from stardust and test tube babies. From birth, she was indoctrinated with metahuman theories, ensuring her unwavering loyalty to Rosetta's cause. Her superior abilities manifested early when, as a child, she destroyed and absorbed 5 of her clone siblings. As Mary grew, she became stronger by absorbing more Stardust and Deviations. Her ruthlessness and power led her to become the leader of an elite group of Rosetta agents. She quickly climbed the ranks, eventually becoming the captain of the agent department, warden of the prison, and commander of the entire Rosetta division on Nalcott. Mary demands that humanity, including you, yield to evolution or die. As part of Rosetta, she also wants humanity to exceed all bounds and become heightened. After this revelation, Mitsuko, your dimension-hopping friend, finally decides to join the party, leaving her refuge. Better late than never, I suppose. Together, you storm the White Cliffs lab, which is basically Evil Scientist Central. You face off against Mary's dad, who's been turned into some kind of invincible monster. Just when you think you've won, Mary pulls out her ace, summoning giant tentacles from the sky. She then flies off, leaving you to deal with her goons. And just like that, she's gone. I guess we'll have to wait for more updates to see how Mary's story ends. So, back to the main story. Finally, you're ready to face the last boss in the Forgotten Monolith. It's a giant tree thing that tries to squash you. This final battle is like a game of the floor is lava mixed with whack-a-mole. You are dodging lasers, throwing grenades, and trying not to fall off the disintegrating platform. But against all odds, and with the help of your deviant friends, you prevail. Yay! You send the big bad tree back to whatever cosmic garden it came from. In the end, Mitsuko decides she's not quite ready for the physical world, and everyone in Blackfall gets their memories back. And that brings us to the end of Once Human. What do you think of the story so far? What other lore elements would you like them to incorporate? In any event, please remember to like the video, subscribe if you loved it, and let me know in the comments what other Once Human lore you would like me to cover in a future video. See you all on the next one.